This is my trade recap that I had today. It wasn't a loss. I took a trade that was not in my system. I had a psychology problem that we're going to talk about, right? Because as you guys know, I didn't take a trade for 2 weeks. So this was more of a forced trade slash, you know, I listened to somebody else than myself, right? So as well as kind of broke my rule, right? Broke my rule of, you know, of my trading guidelines, right? That rule is not my rule, but guess what? I repeated myself a couple of times, multiple times actually, to like, okay, if I'm looking for a near continuation, in this case, I will looking for a near continuation, which we're not looking for a near reversal, right? I would need the 1 a.m. 4-hour candle to make the high or the adjacent to make the high of the day, not the low of the day, right? In this case, the 5 a.m. make the high of the day. So there's no near continuation at all. It's primarily New York reversals. So I took this trade more on the side of, okay, just to show you guys, okay, you fuck around, you find out, right? And I took this trade just to show you guys, okay, this is why we want the 1 a.m. or the 8 to make the high of the day or low of the day before a near continuation, right? So if I'm bullish, I want to need it to make the low of the day, not the high of the day, right? And we did not want the 5 a.m. to make the high of the day or low of the day. If I'm bearish, I'm looking for a near continuation, I do not want the 5 a.m. to make the high of the day because that wouldn't make sense. That would make more of a New York reversal, right? Because the 5 a.m. is attached to the New York session, right? The 5 a.m. the 4-hour candle is attached to the New York session. So as a New York reversal, not a New York continuation, right? So that's why I took this trade just to show you guys that's why that matters so much. That's why it matters for us to, you know, that's why rules matter. That's why guidelines matter. And I never get a win. I never will get a win if I break my rule, right? The only time I will get a win is, or possibly get a win, is when I'm following my rules, right? Including probabilities, right? I just said probably, right? Higher chance and higher probability end, right? I like to get a win if I follow my rules. If I don't follow my rules, I will not, win, right? Simple as that. And this trade that happened right over here, there's some other thing that I literally noted down, put my grammar, and this is the other trade we took on a macro, which is the 130 to 145 macro. I had a shorting opportunity right over here. I took one trade. I took it too early, and I had a stop loss. I was like, okay, what did the market, stop me out? And market went right back down. I was like, okay, the second trade, I took it, which I made like 2.6 RR. Eventually, I found out that, okay, my first setup didn't have the key level there, which was the fair value gap, because it's the first setup that I had. I entered a short. There was no key level that got tapped in a 15-minute time frame. So I was like, okay, I have to wait for a key level to get tapped. If it got tapped, then I shorted it back down. I was up like 2.6, 2.7 RR. I'm pretty sure I should be still in a trade, but I got our break even as well, because that one I'll tell you guys about down as well, right? But this is the primary trade. This trade, keep in mind, I didn't risk 1%. I risked about 0.1% of the 5K of a 5K account, right? So I'm just forward testing it, right, on the actual account. So now let's get into the, trade breakdown. Now we're gonna be talking about the lesson later on. We're gonna talk about the psychology problem that we had. Let's give you guys the analysis paralysis to the trade. Weekly ERL to IRL, weekly CRT to the downside, another weekly CRT to the downside. We had a daily classic profile to the downside. Monday highs protected because of the SMT divergence. We as well have a daily CRT to the downside. We have a expansion daily range with premium, so we want to sell to the discount. We have a premium ERL to IRL as well. For our time frame, we had a 4-hour daily range right over here, as you could say, right? Outcome, there's a daily range, pressure high, pressure low, stable high, stable low, premium, discount, premium. The daily range got tapped with the discount, right? So that's why you made it such for us to take a short here, right? So other than that, what we had here was, you can see we had a 4-hour CRT as well for SMT CRT, as well as we had another 4-hour CRT right over here, had another SMT. So we're looking for a New York reversal profile 1 and 2 at the same time, right? But the profile 2, we didn't take it because the setup happened outside at 12 p.m. So I didn't take it. The profile 1 never was the entry here. But yeah, that's what we had. and our target 1 was here. Target 2 is right the weekly CRT low. We're not going down here because it's Thursday, right? And time over price, and that's why we took a short here. But we had SMT here as well. Now let's go to the lower time frame, 15-minute time frame for the execution. And yeah, that's what we're looking for, a short here, right? 15-minute time frame. Our actual trade supposed to be here, but the actual trade, you know, I'm saying he broke our rule, right? So we're gonna take the trade, and the setup happened. He got tapped around 12:45. I can only enter a trade between 6 a.m. to 10:30, 12 p.m. Right? No longer than that, right? But the reason why I wasn't gonna even take this trade here was simply because of the, you know, SMT divergence, right? The SMT happened outside the 10:30, and although the correlated pair did present out the right time, but I have to see on that because last time when I took a trade, that happened. But guess what? I still had a loss, right? And a loss is definitely gonna happen, right? It's just that I don't want to break my rule here, right? So SMT divergence was a 10 a.m. candle, right? 10 a.m. candle SMT, and if I'm looking for SMT here, right? So SMT, my rule says SMT divergences must occur between 6 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. If a SMT occurs outside the 10:30 a.m. time zone, I cannot take the trade. So this occurred outside of 10:30. So I couldn't take it. All of a sudden, well, there's a 10:30 candle. Right when it taps 10:30, any SMT like a minute after that, it can't count, right? And my rule said if there's SMT that happens before 10:30, SMT high or low should not be purged depending on the bias. So the high got purged. So we're not looking for a trade. We just call it out. Eventually, it's a trade that we took that broke our rule, right? So why did this one go lost? I said it's meant to be a near reversal, not a near continuation here, right? We were looking for a near continuation. The reason I look for a near continuation, I'm not gonna blame nobody, right? We're gonna talk about it, right? But the reason we're looking for a near continuation, well, there's no reason, right? We wanted to force a trade, so we forced a trade to the downside here, right? Because of SMT. As I said, the reason people, you know, the reason I took this such downside was many reasons here, right? Not yes, he was wrong. Yes, he was wrong. Definitely wrong. I made a mistake here, right? But you can see the market. The last time the 1 a.m. candle, when the, you know what I'm saying, when the fucking yeah, last time, right? The 5 a.m. made the high, and we had a, you know, entry at the fucking, you know, we had an outlet CRT downside. We had an outlet CRT to the downside to continue to the downside, right? Guess what? When that happened, market let it slide, right? When the other one happened, market this time. Oh, this one was no. This is the only example we have here, right? When this happened yesterday, market let it slide. But guess what? When you're gonna get caught, right? Because you're eventually gonna get caught in the market trap, right? Because, you know what I'm saying, when this happened, you know what I'm saying, first of all, it broke our rule because the 5 a.m. at the high. So if I'm looking for a continuation to the downside, I need the 1 a.m. 4-hour candle or the 8 in the 4-hour candle to make the high of the day into low of day. In this case, the 5 a.m. at the high of the day. So I'm looking for no New York. You know, I'm not looking for no New York continuation. I'm looking for a New York reversal. What was this? This was a New York, you know, reversal here to the downside, right? So same thing here as well. You know, 5 a.m. at the high, 5 a.m. 4-hour candle, make the high of the day. So it's like a New York reversal. It's not a New York continuation here, right? So you're eventually gonna get caught from the market. You fuck around with the market, you're gonna find out, right? So guess what happened? We fucked around, we found out, right? That's why the reason people, like, you know, the reason people took this trade was because, you know, it made sense. Like, oh yeah, it happened yesterday, but guess what? That was yesterday. It's gone, right? And it's more to probably decide, but guess what? We're here to focus on the highest probably setup. We're here to focus on the quarter of a quantity, right? And this right over here, you know, let's talk about the execution of the trade before we talk the psychology part, right? So we had a CRT right over here, the 8 a.m., 9 a.m. pushed out the high, where for a moment we had SMT, but it got falsely broken here, right? As well, right now, this is the current trade I'm in that is going profits currently, right? But that's what happened. You can see we had our outlet CRT, our the high got purged. We have a Monroe 1, right? We have the right Monroe 1, it's a consecutive candle. We got a body of the Monroe 1. The only time we can body is if there's a consecutive. So the right Monroe 1 is right. Took our threshold because the body was kind of fat. The candle was kind of big and juicy. Put a stop, we entered that threshold. Stop was there. Take profit 1, take profit 2 all the way down here, right? So This one instantly in a loss. Boom. Simple as that, right? Why did it go to loss? Because we're not looking for a new continuation, we're looking for New York Russells, right? And guess what? New York Russell did offers an entry here, but guess what? The New York Russell offers a wrong entry here, right? Because the New York Russell offers a body instead of the wick, right? He offers a body instead of the wick. So we can't take that because it offers a body, right? Because the only time we could take our right model one, because our entry must have the right model one right here, right? In this case, the model one on this was not the right model one, so we didn't take the trade. If I were looking for a if I were looking for a New York Russell, I would have entered here, but the model one right, the model one wasn't right here, right? So I was looking for SMT, shut it down. All of the model ones are right here. We gotta look for SMT to shut it down, right? To make it count as a New York Russell profile 2 because of the SMT, right? So I had SMT, New York Russell profile 2 happened, right? Which never off the entry, so we just call it a day off. And you broke our rules, so we didn't take it because SMT happened outside at 10:30. And if I were looking for a New York Russell, I would have entered here. What the fuck am I entering this, right? I'm not looking for a New York Russell. I'm looking for a New York. I'm not looking for a New York continuation. I am looking for a fucking New York Russell, right? Like how hard is it gotta be? I'm not gonna come here and blame somebody else because although I do say somebody influenced me, right? Which is some bullshit. How the fuck am I gonna let somebody else influence me? That's fucking gay, right? I let that happen. Is all right. We learned from it, right? I didn't take a trade on my main account. That's why I didn't take my main account because, you know what I'm saying? This is not my fucking setup. As I said multiple times, I'll show you guys multiple examples, I said, all my rules are backed by proof, right? Every rule I have here is backed by proof. If I have a rule that says whatever the shit it says, that rule is backed by proof. So I went to chart, tested it out, looked at it because it's backed by fucking proof here, right? So that's why I didn't take it to my main account because this shit was not backed by proof. I should be taking it, right? So I basically broke my rule, entered where I'm not supposed to enter it. So I was impatient, right? If I'm looking for a fucking New York Russell, I would have entered out this fucking body into push on the downside here, right? Simple as that. My setup is around here. The setup did not offer the right entry, so it would have not been in a market at all unless the market does the SMT with its high and look for a New York Russell profile 2, give us the entry there. Otherwise, no, right? In this case, never give the entry here. So there should have been no fucking trades until the 1:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m. for the New York, for the PM session macro, which is this time market will usually respect the 15-minute CRT a lot, right? The 15-minute low time for CRT within the higher time for CRT candle a lot here, right? Just a little macro, which only lasts like 15 minutes, which only lasts like a 15-minute candle, right? From 1:30 to 1:45, which is a a 15-minute candle that lasts that long, right? So yeah, as well, that happened. We're gonna talk about it a little later, but the lesson is, do not get influenced. Do not listen to other people's opinion. Let me go read the rule for you guys to what I actually mean. I actually had a rule on this that I was gonna read on it, on the fucking video because made a mistake here, right? So let me go read out the rule to you guys and just to let you guys know what's up here, right? So in my rule, I said for this specific trade, the lesson is, I don't trade for applause. I trade for a position. They're here to watch me lead, not to lead me. My edge is in my discipline, not their opinions, right? And all the way down here, I think I broke my other rule where I said I seek validation from others, right? Which is not good, right? I do not seek validation from others or care about their opinions, right? Which this rule will never be ever broken again. After today, this shit will never happen again, right? And I said the other one says I had a patience problem because I waited for 2 weeks of not taking any trades. I forced a trade, right? Which is not in my fucking setup. Although this setup right over here happened, there's a setup here. There's a setup every fucking day throughout the week. But guess what? Those setups broke my fucking rule, right? So I can't take them. There's no fucking setups. So patience is a position. That is a stance I trade when the market proves it, not when my emotions begs for it, right? My emotions are fucking like itchy. It was itching for fucking a setup. Just a dopamine, right? Just a fucking desire to take a setup, which fucked me up. Not gonna lie to you guys, it fucked me up, right? That right there is what got me to taking a short entry I'm not even supposed to take a short entry. Am I mad about the trade? I'm not. I'm not mad at all about being losing money. I'm not mad at all. It's the psychology, the mindset is what is fucking the problem here, right? Why the psychology and the mindset is the problem? Because the reason the psychology is a problem, without my mind, like this will overall lead to my other things if I fucking let this slide. If I let this slide, it's gonna lead to me being patient, gonna lead to me fucking break my rule and go back in a loop. And the loop, I know most of you guys going through that shit. So I do not want to go through the loop again, right? So if I go through that fucking loop again, it's gonna fuck me up. It's gonna fuck me up. I gotta fucking focus and not let that shit happen again, which I will not let shit happen again. I do not make the same mistake. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not gonna let that shit happen again, right? I'm not here to blame anybody. My boy Trader said, yo, this always, as you know, new situation, right? Ali SMT as well. I'm not gonna blame him at all, right? It was my fault, right? I was the one who had to take action, right? So that did cost me a little influence. Like, yeah, fuck, let's take it, right? Now that I take a trade out for 2 weeks, which is fucking bullshit excuse, right? Because I'm resting, I'm waiting for a perfect time, right? I'm waiting for a perfect time to execute, right? Time over price. Time is what actually is gonna get us somewhere, right? Because as I said, I have never in my trading career had a fucking win when I broke my rule. I have never had a win. I'm trying to be different from others. I'm trying to be, unique. A unique person isn't, I'm not here. I'm not unique for doing this shit, right? I'm unique for doing this, but am I unique for doing this? Fuck no. Why? The reason I'm not unique from doing this is because a unique person does the 5% of what people do. The success what people do, right? Everybody breaks their fucking rule, right? So if everybody breaks their fucking rule, what makes the 95% breaks their rule? 95% think when they break their rule, they're unique, right? So when you take this short shot, it looks beautiful, but it doesn't align my rule. I'm unique. I'm gonna take that shit, right? You're not fucking unique. 95% of that time, people are fucking breaking their rules, right? So I'm not fucking unique on this shit. The only time I'm unique when I'm following a rule, which the 99% or 95% do not fucking follow. That is when you're unique. This is not unique, right? I'm not even saying, oh, I'm trying to be unique, but just to demonstrate to you guys, that's how your mind is starting to feel like. Your mind is fucking filled with dopamine, desires, right? And trying to be unique. What the fuck you trying to be unique too? This is not unique. This is fucking bullshit. You're fucking taking a setup that's not even a system. You're not unique, buddy. You're the 95%. And I'm not gonna be the 95%, and I am not the 95%, right? And as you guys know, around ETU, we're not the 95%. We're the 5%, which we're unique, which the unique people are, they follow their rules, they don't break their rules, they don't take the setups, they're patient, they're confident, fearless, emotional, not greedy, they're disciplined, right? That's who we are. Today, a little setback. We're gonna take it today as a lesson and go on. I'm not gonna blame anybody. Yes, although that the streaming, I saw that. That's why I dislike streaming, right? This is why I don't like to stream, because if I were not trading, if I were not streaming, I would have fucking got out of the chart instantly, right? Without giving a fuck, right? I would get out and move on my day. Since I'm streaming, try to look fucking cool, which we're not fucking cool, right? And the reason like the stream is kind of bad is because people will influence you sometimes, right? Although, right, I will not let influence the game over me anymore. I'm not gonna fucking listen to other people's opinion, whatever they're gonna say. Oh, RLA SMT, whatever that shit is, right? I'm not gonna listen to them. I'm gonna listen to my fucking chart, to my rules, to my fucking data and chart, not somebody else's, right? You could see something else, I could see something else, right? My rule is not, my rule says not enter. I'm not gonna fucking enter, right? Although it's today, we enter the setup when it's, when we're not supposed to enter the trade. It's cool. We're gonna take a lesson from this, right? The lesson is, do not listen to other people, do yourself, right? Patience pays. I gotta be patient. My setup is not here, right? Let me read the quote one more time here, right? I don't trade for applause. I trade for position. They're here to watch me. They're here to watch me lead. You guys are into my fucking streams, my videos, to watch me lead you guys, right? To show you guys examples of what we should be doing, right? You are here to watch me lead. You're not here to lead fucking me. People who come to my live stream, do not fucking try to lead me here, okay? I don't give a fuck how good of you are. I don't give a fuck if you're ICT, Romeo. Do not come here to try to lead me. I will learn from my own losses, right? I'm not a fucking guy who's a dickhead, right? No hard feelings, right? Tough love. Tough love. You know, so that's all I'm trying to say. Am I emotional about this loss? I couldn't give a shit about this loss. I couldn't give a shit about this win. I couldn't give a shit about that breaking trade I had in there and that loss I had in there. I couldn't give a shit about it. Zero fucks. What I give a fuck about is that I do not want these problems, this mindset problems, to keep it to my other fucking stuff. This setup all okay. The reason I don't care about it because I didn't take my main account, right? But guess what? I don't want this shit to creep into my fucking main account. If it keeps it to my main account, it's gonna fuck me up, right? And eventually, oh, back another drawdown, we're fucked, which we do not want it, right? So we're not gonna let this shit happen. How the fuck we're not gonna let shit happen? Is by fucking not making that mistake again. We will not make that same mistake again here, right? So that's what happened. And the last quote is simple. It says, patience is a position, flat is a stance. I trade when the market proves it. Over here, market, okay, it's going down, fine. But guess what? To me, in my eyes, when I'm taking a setup, when my setup is there, right? Let me show you guys what I mean by this. Let me show you guys here. All right, what's a good example? When my setup is here, right? When my setup is here, it gives me a perfect opportunity to go to the long opportunity, right? It gives me a perfect opportunity, right? It doesn't fuck around, right? So I trade when the market proves it, right? This time, the reason I took it straight to the upside because the fucking market proved it, right? He proved that he wanted to go up higher. So I took this long to the upside here, right? Today, yes, there was a setup to the downside. Yes, we had setups, but guess what? The execution was not there, so we broke our rule. So should have not taken that trade, right? That 5 a.m., the 6 a.m. purge, we had the right entry that broke our rule. So we couldn't take that. We couldn't take the trade because the market didn't prove it. During that time, market proved it, so we made 15.5 RR. That's a 15.5% gain, right? In this case, market did not prove it, so we are not gonna take it, right? I only entered a trade when the market proves it, or else I'm sidelines. I'm in a, patience is a position, right? So keep that in mind as well. And yeah, this loss, beautiful loss. There's 2 lessons out of this. Lesson number 1, I must be patient. I'm not fucking going based out. I will never go based out of my emotions, dopamine, right? I gotta be patient. I gotta wait for a perfect opportunity where the market proves it. That's what I'm executing. The market gives me falls on my rules. And the next lesson is to not let others influence me right here. You guys are here to watch me. You guys are here not to lead me, right? I'm here the one that's leading here, right? I don't give a fuck if you think I'm not leading. I couldn't give a shit. I give 0 fucks, all right? So yeah, that's the lesson of that trade. Beautiful setup, beautiful loss. I'm not even here mad about the loss, right? But the next trade that we had here on the macro, if you go to lower time frame, we had this quick macro right over here. It's our CRT. You can see the CRT logo, CRT logo purge. This was be considered as a double purge here, right? And you can see if it goes to lower time frame, the 1 minute, I got caught in this trap where I know the 1 minute high got purged, even more 1 entry. I was okay, I'm not gonna enter the trade, but if it goes back up higher to the threshold, okay, market at the threshold, I got to enter the trade. I took a short over here, put a stop loss over here, I got stopped out instantly. Why did I get stopped out? Because there's no key level. Whereas our key level was just IVG, right? Our key level was this. If you want to, this is the reason this is not our key level. It's never fucking purge liquidity, right? And this is our only key level. This auto block never got tapped. This is now our auto block here, right? And this breakup block, you got disrespected multiple times. So our only key level is IVG here, right? And guess what? When the IVG got tapped, boom, model 1 tapped, our entry. Now market came back to the entry. I broke even here for some. I broke even right over here in market because I took a loss here, so I broke even right over here, which is another mistake I made. I should never break even too early. But I'm forward testing this on like a what? I'm risking 0. I'm risking like $5 per trade here, right? So I took a loss here. Boom. I took a loss here, but this one was a 2.6 RR win. Market went down even lower, right? Hitting our drawn liquidity. So I was like, okay, wait, here my take profit. I'm gonna go break even. I broke even. I came back, took me out at a break-even spot. Eventually, we were like lower, then I got take profit 1, and eventually got a project there. So the lesson of this trade is there must always be a key level, and we have the time here. The time is macro, so the time is a macro, and a setup happened, and the setup must be there during the macro, right? But if let's say that the setup is there, market goes lower, but what else happened? Marble one, the market goes, taps the marble one. I saw that macro could execute a trade, but the setup must be there during the macro. The setup was there during the macro, which is time, and as well the key level must always be there, which is the IFG here, right? That's number one. That's number two is, since the low already got soup, we can just go to this low instead of this low here, right? So kind of refine our stop loss, our take profit to right over here. So yeah, could have made way more on this. This setup is currently, I'm pretty sure, coming back up to a break even here. But on this setup, I got our early, got our break even, right? Market press down, hit our take profit, when we're back up, a little lower, a little higher, and we're back to a little lower here, which makes sense. This was another macro, right? If you could see, chat, the 1050 to 10. That one I don't care about. This is the only one I care about, right? This one makes sense the most to me, right? The reason I don't care about the 1010, like the last 10 minutes of the macro, the last 10 minutes of the fucking other macros. The reason I don't care about that is because this right over here is the first macro of the PM session, so it's the most important macro. This other macro, they're lacking, because first of all, the other macro that happens is the manipulation macro. The reason this macro is very important is because the first macro during the PM session, and as well as the expansion macro, that other macro that happens around here at 1010. I don't follow that rule. I follow the more of the 330 to the 310 to 340, right? That's one macro as well. That macro is just a manipulation macro, which I do not use. I'm looking for expansion here, right? Expansion macro here that happened to the downside, right? So market did give us a 3.8 hour setup here. Market is currently he hasn't hit our break even yet. Although I'm not in this trade, I'm still acting like I'm in this trade here. Definitely be a lesson out of this. The lesson of this trade is not breaking too early. There must always be a key level, and since the low already got soup, we can just go into this low. And we could have, probably wondering, could have gone all down here as a take profit? We could have definitely, but there's no KOD here, right? This is just a small macro move that you can take during the PM session, right? Which I'm currently forward testing this, right? So let's say, during the AM session, market has, there's a setup that happens, and let's just say I missed it or something happens, right? Let's just say my rules got disrespected by the market. That the market is respecting the CRT. Is the CRT the take profit about to get hit? We can look for a KOD macro time. It's the first macro and the most important macro out of the whole micro, right? So we can take this long or short, hit it to take profit, to hit to the KOD. And today it will be the best decision of this trade would have been to go over here just to just take profit. Why? Simply because it makes sense just to go down here, because there's no KOD here, right? There's literally no KOD. Market is not, this is not gonna be the last purge before getting beating the draw on liquidity here, right? Market is not gonna go all the way down here just because of this market purge out the 15-minute ride gap here, right? So there's no KOD here. It's just a small little macro we could have taken, right? The only time it would make sense for us to go all the way down here, right, to go to this, higher tough and take profit, is when the market's near it and the macro is gonna get, it's gonna be last at that, and that macro is gonna deliver it to the drawn liquidity. In this case, there's nowhere to near the drawn liquidity there yet, right? So that would have not made sense to go all the way down here to take profit. Just over here would have made sense for a 3.8 RR. So now goes back up higher. We're not gonna lose. We're not gonna fucking, we don't care about it, because the market already hit our take profit, right? So yeah, for the for the next lesson could be go for a let's take profit, because the only time I want to go down to this 4-hour CRT lows, in this case, when I'm entering the 15-minute time frame, I'm only trying to go for the 4-hour CRT as my last final take profit, right? Because this is trying to catch the KOD of the 4-hour CRT that we missed in the AM session, right? So for this one is the only time I'm gonna go for the 4-hour CRT low or CRT high is if there's a KOD happening. There's no KOD, I'll have to just go to the range low. That's it, nothing else right here, right? But the perfect excuse was here. Whether market did a double purge here, first of all, this the time was there, but the key level wasn't there, right? So market came back up, boom, tapped the key level, then eventually went down lower, right? getting a Tron liquidity here, which is a 3.8 hour gain here, which this trade did go in a win. Fantastic. This trade did go in a loss, but this one I'm forward testing. This one is a break even, and one loss over here, and eventually a break even, and eventually a win here, right? Fantastic. Lessonable, right? As I said, the lesson of this trade is I must always have a key level. Set the CFD low, guys. So we just go to the CFD low and only go for that 450 high, 450 low if there's a KOD. In this case, there's no KOD here. You're looking to go there, as well as so we're just looking to go to the 15-minute range, high range low. The next lesson is to not break even too early, which what we have as an example. I didn't break even too early. I thought, okay, hit the range low, it's reflecting out of it, so just break even here. There was no psychology problem on there, but yeah, okay, I find okay, so I just could have gone just over here as my final take profit, which made sense, right? So yeah, this is my trade recap on how I lost here, and I made some profit over here as well. I think I don't make any profit here. It was a loss here, and a break even again here, right? Because it's the first trade that we had, it was a loss. The reason it's a loss was because of the fucking, we didn't have the kill over there, right? And upon one day, well, you say you're gonna take one trade regardless of the account, right? If you take a trade here, you're not gonna take a trade in any other account. You're gonna take 1% protection, even if it's a demo trade. Yes, but this right over here is a demo trade. This is our actual trade. Once we take the trade, I was, even as I say the SMT was the correct SMT here, I was not gonna take the trade because I already took the trade here, right? This is my main trade out from that, and this was just like a forward testing trade, which I risked like 0.1% on this, right? Just to forward test it up, right? So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later. Peace out.